Dr. Nathan Schaumleffel is a member of the 1992 Eagle class. He holds a PhD in Recreation, Sport, and Tourism from the University of Illinois. He has served in scouting at the local unit, district, and national levels, and is a founding member of the troop for which he is currently the Scoutmaster. He was honored in 2012 with Scouting's Honor Medal for risking his own self in a heroic act of saving the life of another person. He currently teaches at the college level and is the owner of Driven Strategic, a consulting firm serving not-for-profit interests. Dr. Schaumleffel, thanks so much for being here with us today. I know you're busy this time of year. The academic year is about to begin, so we really do appreciate the time you're giving to us. And I'd like to start out by asking a very simple question. You let me know that you have just started your 40th year of active registered membership in the scouting. How have you kept motivated? How have you kept involved and engaged for so many years?
Well, thanks for having me, Mark, and that's a good question. 40 years is a long time, and considering I'm just 47, it means that I started as a youth and never stopped being registered. I've kept on scouting since day one, and before 1983, I was a very active tag-along with my two brothers who were both in Cub Scouts. Then my oldest brother was actually in Boy Scouts. And so I tagged along until I could join. And I remember asking the Cub Master, can I join this year? Can I join this year? And he said, not yet, not yet. You're not old enough. And then he finally said yes, because the council I was in was going to be one of the pilot councils for the first year of Tiger Cubs in 1983. So it's 2023. It's been 40 years. And what I've learned is my role in scouting has ebbed and flowed based on my capacity to give. There are points in life where I couldn't be as involved, and then there's other times where I've been over involved. But most importantly, I've learned that scouting is a lifespan program. It's an existential process of constantly trying to become a better version of yourself in terms of living the Scout Oath and Law. So that's what motivates me, because I continue to get return on investment as an individual, trying to become a better person, a better husband, a better father, and really trying to walk and live the Scout Oath and Law. And the different roles that I've taken on after turning 18 has actually been just as impactful, if not more impactful, than my time as a youth in the program. And so I continue to benefit and develop and try to better live the mission of scouting in roles across the last, 28, 30 years.
You've been everything from now Scoutmaster to District Commissioner. You've served on some national committees. You've been all over the place and been given a lot. So on behalf of Scouting, I'd like to say thanks for all the time you've given. One of the points of mission of NISA is to engage or re-engage Eagle Scouts after they've received the award to stay active and contributing to scouting through their lives. But do you feel that Eagle Scouts should feel a sense of obligation to give back or to return to scouting something because they received something for scouting? Or is there some other reason they should remain engaged?
Yeah, that's a complex question. I'll try to peel apart. So I think NISA was the BSA's first effort at an alumni association, basically. And back in the day when only 2% of Scouts got Eagle, that meant 98% of former Scouts were left out in terms of re-engaging as adults. I think now 4 or 5% get Eagle Scout, so that leaves out 95%, but we're doing a better job with the BSA Alumni Association, including all former Scouts, not just those that attain the rank of Eagle. So I think we're moving in a good direction there. To peel back the question and to answer it appropriately, I would say that most Scouts only see the unit level. They only see the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, in scouting, and they really have no idea the giant infrastructure that's in place to make sure that units are successful in delivering a program that produces outcomes, developmental outcomes, and moves Scouts to an advancement cadence that gets them to Eagle before their 18th birthday. So in general, I think most Scouts at 18 have no idea all the opportunities to get involved in scouting. Not just at the unit level, but the district level, the council level, the national level. There's lots of ways to engage depending where somebody's at in their life journey. And I just don't think we do a great job of communicating that infrastructure and opportunities to our former Scouts. In terms of giving back or paying it forward, I actually really don't like those terms. I think we're too quick to tell a 14 or 15-year-old it's time to pay it forward or to give back. I see scouting as a lifespan program, and I think all of us can become a better version of ourselves today, better than we were yesterday, and we can be better tomorrow than we were today. So, in terms of like living the mission of scouting to enable us to make ethical and moral choices across our lifespan, by essentially living the Scout Oath and Law, I don't think that's something you finish by 18. And so I think when we move to that give back or pay it forward, we're basically saying that we can't take anything yet from the program and that we're a polished saint, so to speak, as an Eagle Scout. And I think what we need to do is encourage people to realize that even an 18-year-old Eagle Scout has a tremendous amount of personal growth in terms of being an ethical and moral decision maker, and to teach them how to pick themselves up when they make poor choices across their lifespan, and how to repledge themselves to the Eagle Charge and to the Scout Oath and Law. So I just really don't like moving to that conversation to pay it forward or give back. I think you can contribute to the next generation of young people while you're still developing yourself and taking from the program for your own development.
So you're suggesting that if we take the attitude of remaining a role model, not as a perfect, iconic ideal, but with all our flaws, and to present ourselves to scouts around us, to the scouting organization as imperfect people, but still driven by the law and oath. I kind of like that.
Absolutely. I mean, we're imperfect people. As a Christian, I know I was made imperfectly. I'm not going to be a perfect saint and walk the same life that Jesus walked. And I think we need to present ourselves to scouts that they're going to make mistakes in life, and that good kids make poor choices, and it doesn't make them a terrible person. I think what we need to do is look at mental health issues related to anxiety and depression, and what kind of expectation are we setting for these scouts. I think it's important to give scouts, not students, but scouts, a chance to make their poor choices, and then through reflection and mentoring, guide them through a better decision-making process so they don't make the same mistake over and over and over again. And what I'm not suggesting is that we say it's okay to not live the Scout Oath and Law or use it as an excuse that we're imperfect. But I think what we have to do is walk a fine line, that we recognize that we're human, and that kids, adolescents, young people, even middle-aged adults and older adults, everybody's going to have a bad day and make a poor choice, whether it's in work or partnership or marriage or parenting or whatever it is. And I just think that we need to really help people understand that it's about trying to be better tomorrow than it was today.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we're running short on time, but I do want to ask one final question. It seems to me that as people look at becoming involved or re-engaging with scouting, they see it as an all or nothing proposition, and that they either give zero or their involvement with scouting consumes their entire life. Is there a middle ground? Is there some type of compromise we can make with our time to be respectful of both scouts and our own personal lives?
Absolutely, and I'll try to keep this short. I think first of all, you have to put guardrails on your volunteerism, and those that are professional volunteer managers, like our district executives, our district directors, and other professional staff, as well as volunteers who recruit and try to retain volunteers that are in volunteer roles, like a troop committee chair, a district commissioner, district chair, who's recruiting other volunteers. We need to respect when people say no, and we need to respect when people say not right now, or that's too much, or we need to take something off your plate. Burnout's not good for anybody. It's not good for the volunteer, and it's not good for the organization. So we need to respect volunteers' time and where they're at in terms of their bandwidth and capacity. So, I'm a certified volunteer administrator. I'm a professional consultant for volunteer management, volunteer engagement. What we've seen as a trend in the field of volunteerism is we've moved from managing volunteers to engaging volunteers. And that sounds like, volunteer management to volunteer engagement. The difference in there is relationship based. Volunteer management is, we need an assistant scoutmaster to take care of the trailer, and we need it done on Saturday at 3, help us or not, but that's what we need. It's very top down, one way, one direction. Volunteer engagement is a very bi-directional negotiation of building a relationship with a volunteer over time, and negotiating with them what they want out of their volunteer experience, what their capacity and limitations are, and what they want to do. There's things the organization wants to do, there's things that the volunteer wants to do, and we got to figure out where that overlaps. Just because somebody's a CPA, it doesn't mean that they want to be your free accountant for your nonprofit. So I'll leave it there. I think we got to set those guardrails.
Yeah. So it works both ways. The scouting and the units have to be respectful of the individuals, and the individuals have to be respectful of the unit while still respecting their own time and willingness to serve. Hey, thanks a lot for your time. We appreciate it. Best of luck in the upcoming school year. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me today, Mark.
And that's it. Again, thanks to Dr. Nathan Schaumleffel talking about engaging and remaining engaged with Scouting.